The Irish have only one Ireland. This is the only country they have. This is the only homeland they have. They don't have any other homeland to go to, any other place to run to. In my hand, I hold an Irish passport. And some of the things I'm about to say next, as I always say, to tell the truth is a risk being offensive. Somebody will find it offensive because when the truth is confronting to people, and sometimes it confronts your comfort zone or your normal way of operation, people find it offensive. So the goal is never to be offensive, but to tell the truth to the best of my capacity on my platform, based on my beliefs and my personal views. And those who resonate, great. Those who don't, it's fine. In order for you to get one of these, when you're invited to get one of these, you go and you swear an oath, right? You make a pledge of fidelity to the state, to this country. You make that oath before men, you make that oath before God, more importantly, and you make it before the state of this country. When you make an oath or an agreement or a promise in the presence of God, you should do well to honor that. God is not to be played with, and the words that we make or the promises we make in the presence of God are promises that we should take very seriously, and we should do well to see the fulfillment of such things. No matter what your religion is, Muslim, Hindu, Christian, whatever, when you go to get one of these, you make a pledge of fidelity to this state, to take Ireland as your own country, that you will contribute, you will look for the best interest of the country, right? You'll be a positive contributor to this country. And for a long time, this is a wake-up call. I think many have taken back seats, right? We've accepted this thing and we've taken back seats and we said the issues of this country is not really our problem as long as it doesn't affect me personally. But this is the issue and this is where it arises, and every single person is complicit, in my view, to the state that this country is in right now. Every single person, both native Irish and non-native Irish, are complicit in the affairs of the country right now as it stands, because for too long many took a back seat. For too long many sat back. Certain issues were only a small effect on certain areas and people didn't really want to step forward. It wasn't comfortable. It wasn't uncomfortable enough then to make change. But as you make a fidelity to this country and you make a fidelity and a pledge to accept this passport, what it means, you have to be a contributor to this country. You have to be a positive contributor to the best of your capacity. You have to love and value this country just as you love your own country, right? Take it as your own. And this is why I really urge the message to people, and I continue to say it. The issues that are affecting Irish people, that the Irish people are out there on the streets for, are the same issues that are affecting you. If you live here, you want to build a future here, and you want your children to grow up here, as most migrants that have moved here want that, then it is in your best interest to also stand up now and start being a part of the change, start being a part of the movements that are pushing towards holding the government accountable for the cost of living, for the healthcare crisis in this country, for the lack of resources and lack of support, for the issues affecting over 5,000 children this year that will spend Christmas in emergency accommodation, while mass immigration is a problem. And what people have to understand, and I understand for immigrants, when you hear immigration, it causes a little bit of a jump in your heart that, it's a target towards me and all of that. No, it is not. There's a difference between immigration and mass immigration. 3,000 a year to nearly 50,000 a year is a big difference. That doesn't happen by accident. I understand you can say, well, the war in Ukraine, that's a contributor. But what about outside of the war in Ukraine? There's at least an additional 15,000 plus to be accounted for outside of that. That's not immigration. That's mass immigration. That's intentional. And that's damaging. That cannot be sustained. It cannot support. So when you speak about these issues, or the Irish speak about these issues, it's not racism. It's reality. And for over 3 years now, when Irish people spoke about it, they were labelled as racist, only for the government now to turn around and say, well, yes, it is a problem, and that's what's causing an issue on the housing crisis. That's what's causing an issue on the infrastructure. And they convinced many of you to sit back and turn against one another and target other people and so forth and so on. And there's many people that have labelled the Irish as racist. They tried to label this country as a racist country. This is your country. And I can tell you, Irish people do not tolerate racism. Many Irish people don't. The issue you face is there was a minority of voices that people fed into, because it's easier to react to negativity. For some strange reason, the world we live in, negativity reacts, people attract more to negativity than positivity. They forget quickly how positive things are in the face of any form of negativity for some strange reason. Maybe it's how we're hardwired. From a creation perspective, I don't know. Chemically, we react different to such things. But now is a time where people have to wake up and people got to understand the game that's being played. But there's also a thing I really want to challenge people on, you know? And this is where, for me personally, it works in understanding people. You know, my appreciation for the Irish people and what people have to understand. You appreciate people, and I see the beauty in the Irish people. And the reason I see the beauty, because you don't see a beauty in a thing because of its perfection. You see a beauty in this thing because its similarity is and its relativity to you. You can see yourself in something. You can see yourself in people. And I see myself and I see the history of black people in Irish people, right? I see a history of people that have also been oppressed. They were the black sheep of Europe, still maybe to this day in my view. Discriminated, hated, judged, dehumanized, just as we were. But the similarities go far beyond just what we've experienced. We also have the same similarities in the negative things that we want to call out about this country, the negative things we want to call about people. How many African nations, how many of us hate other African nations, judge other African nations, are racist to other African nations based on us thinking we're better than them? How many in our own homes, and if we have to look at ourselves now, right, if we want to pass judgment and cast the first stone, how many of us look at other nations? How many of us have said racist things? How many of us racially judge other races that look like ourselves, share the same complexion, but because they're from a different country, we think their country is less than, or they're animals, or they're this and they're that? How many, if we want to be honest, right? He that is without sin cast the first stone. Before you pass judgment, let's really look at the positives and the negatives that we all relate. And this is not to justify racism, absolutely not. And I don't think the Irish people, I know, and it's factual, that Irish people don't stand for racism. They don't like it, and they've never been for that. There's a small minority that do, but they don't represent the whole, and they don't represent the core values or the integrity of this country. And it's about time that anybody that holds this, right, native or non-native, starts looking at the best interest of this state and looking at how I can be a positive contributor, not just to my own family, not just to my own life, not just to my own self-interest, but the interest of this state, for the future of the next generation, for the future of the kids in this country, and for the future of this country, and for the respect and honoring of the blood that was shed by those that came before, in order for this place to be as it is now. I will leave my message there. God bless.